Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Trojan Media Productions, coverage of Indiana high school football. Week 14 on the schedule. That means it's Semistate time out on Hoosier State. Hi, everybody. My name is Kaz Burdett, and tonight at Trojan Field, kicking off at 7 o'clock, Class 4A Semistate battle. The East Central Trojans, ranked number 4 with a record of 11-2, one step away from a state championship game next Thanksgiving weekend. Well, the team that's standing this way, the team they faced during the last game of the regular season, the number 2 Roncalli Royals, with a record of 12-1. My partner in crime, Josh, joining us, and Josh, Trojans conference champions, sectional champions, regional champions, just one run away from going to the state finals.
That's right. Thanks, Kaz. Yes, 4 teams left in 4A. You want to be playing right after Thanksgiving there next week up in Lucas Oil, and what battle is going to be tonight? It's going to be a good one, I'm sure. Roncalli coming in, a team that's a program that's really a big rival for decades. And I was able to stop and talk to one of my former teammates at Franklin College who played at Roncalli. Actually, an 04 graduate, was an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, had some really good things to say about this rivalry. He said it's mutual respect. He talked about some guys from that 03 team, which I'll allude to here in just a minute. But he talked about that group of guys that he actually hung out with, Kyle Howell, who actually went to Georgetown prior to going to Franklin College with Mark, and so had really good things to say about this community in general. He was able to be here for a little bit in that summer, and then I brought up the question about that 03 game. Was it a score or not at the very end? He said, of course it was. And so we talked about how having a pylon cam might help that game right there with that situation. And it was a really good conversation he had. He still keeps track of Roncalli too. His brother's on staff there, along with a lot of other coaches from that regime back in 03 and 04. So really good things to say about East Central and what we're doing here.
And definitely, your friend Mark played for the Roncalli 2002 and 2003. Both years they went overtime. Royals won the regional game and then the semi-state game. And the question that still stands about 20 years from now, that he didn't get in for that 2-point conversion. We're still questioning about that even to this date.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to your videos coming up in just a bit. And on the way, we'll talk with Trojans head football coach Jake Miners. Right now, Lily Ford, her interview with East Central Trojans star player Ryan Brotherton.
I'm Lily Ford here with Ryan Brotherton. Ryan, congratulations on the regional win. What was that experience like, and how does a trip like that affect you?
It was a fun experience. I was obviously very tired on the way home from the bus ride, but overall it was pretty fun.
Yeah. All right. You have a very versatile game. You had 25 carries last week, but you're mostly known as a wide receiver. How do you prepare for that when you essentially play 2 positions?
I'm just ready to do whatever.
Yeah, all right. Roncalli round 2. What's your mindset going into it, and how is the team feeling?
We're all feeling good. Obviously, we want to win this time, but yeah, pretty confident.
Best of luck tonight, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm Lily Ford for Trojan Media.
Thanks, Lily. Now to this week's keys of the game for the semi-state game against the Roncalli Royals. I have 3 items here, the controllables, which are turnovers and penalties. You want to make sure you eliminate those. The mentality coming in, wanting to play on Thanksgiving weekend. And then assignment football. Bill Belichick says do your job. If they do their job, they will be very successful. Let's take a look at the East Central defense from last week. I want to pause and highlight outside linebacker, number 6, Rhett Smith right here. Okay, what he does is an awesome job of keeping gap integrity like we alluded to a few weeks ago that the defense have done all season long. But in this case, okay, he's splitting the 3 receivers, which you can't see the 3rd receiver out here, but we count from outside in, number 1, number 2 receiver, and the number 3 receiver. What he's going to do in this case, he's going to fake the blitz and come out and actually hit number 3 as number 3 goes across the middle, and he's going to get underneath of number 2. That's almost like a double post that they're doing right here. Number 1's going to run a streak, and he's going to hit number 3. He's going to get under number 2, moves his hips very well, gets his head on a swivel, and finds that football. Big interception for the Trojans early in this game. of the regional game here. You're going to see him turn his hips, find the football in the air, high point it, grab it, and he's off to the races for a touchdown. Now, he does get stopped there at the 1 or 2 yard line, but the offense is in a great position to score a couple plays later. It's always great to start a game with an interception or a turnover for your offense. Brings a lot of confidence for both sides of the football. On this play right here, several things happen. First of all, the offense is going to run what's called an RPO, or run pass option play, with the quarterback and running back. Okay, the quarterback is eyeing number 8, number 8, Louis Gray. He's the end man on the line of scrimmage. They're going to watch him. If he decides to cut down and slide down the line of scrimmage, they're going to hand the ball off to they're going to have the quarterback keep the football and run this direction. Okay, so he's going to stay his ground, keep that gap integrity, and that quarterback's going to hand the football off, okay? But we're also going to keep an eye on number 46, Braden Rouse. He's going to elude a couple blocks and actually make the initial hit of the running back after that handoff. So you're going to see the quarterback eye Louis Gray right there. He's going to hand the football off because Louis staying his ground, staying that gap integrity. Braden Rouse comes up, makes an initial hit, and you see that team come in there for that loss on that play. On this next play here, okay, we are going to take a look at defensive linemen, going back to Louis Gray, and then also on the other side, number 93, Kingston Cook. They get a great pass rush here. They elude a couple double teams, and you're going to see Kingston Cook make that sack here on the play. But both Louis and Kingston do a great job of getting in there, causing some havoc, and forcing that quarterback to go down for a huge sack for the defense right there for East Central. Now let's take a look at the offense last week against Evansville Memorial, and we're going to stop on this play here. We're going to talk about this formation. This formation is called unbalanced formation, okay? And what does that mean? So we have the center, we have a guard and a tackle, and typically you have that on both sides, center, guard, tackle. But in this case, we have the Y, which is the tight end position, and we move the left tackle over to the right side. Well, what does that do for the offense? That gives them an advantage of having an extra lineman on the opposite side. Sometimes defenses don't really notice that right away. In this case, Evansville Memorial did notice that, and they adjusted. But the great thing is you have great blockers up front, and you have Ryan Brotherton lead the way for Josh Ringer. They create a great hole and that C gap between both those tackles. You see Josh Ringer elude a couple tacklers there. You got guys on the outside, Cole Wheat and Eli Aston, making some key blocks for him to get some extra yards. Now, let's flash back to week 9 against Roncalli at home. I think a couple plays are going to be super important coming back into the semi-state game, such as this one. These are all going to be some type of play action or screen plays that are very, very important that they were very successful on in this game. All right, so in this case, what's going to happen is Ryan Brotherton's going to sneak out and get into the flat area right here. They're going to fake the handoff to Josh, and he's going to secure the edge so Cole Burton can get outside the pocket and make a nice throw to Ryan Brotherton. Plays like this are going to happen quite a bit because the defense should key on Ryan Brotherton and Josh Ringer in the backfield, both great weapons in the backfield, along with Cole Burton here. As you see him get out of the pocket, make a nice throw to Ryan Brotherton and get upfield and make a huge gain for this offense in this drive in week 9. We're going to run from the end zone cam here. You're going to see Ryan Brotherton get behind that safety. You're going to see him chasing Ryan. Ryan gets behind him and does a nice job of making sure he secures the catch for that big play. We're going to pause it here as this play is about to develop, but this is a screenplay here with Josh Ringer, So what's going to happen is Josh is going to come up, act like he's blocking. He's going to release to about right here, 3 yards or so in front of the line of scrimmage. But we're going to notice something that the Roncalli Royals are going to do. Their linebackers are going to get out quickly. You're going to see here in just a second on a wide angle that it is going to be 3rd and long, 3rd and 15. They're going to get back. They don't want them to get a first down. But the offensive linemen did a great job of blocking for 1,001, 1,002 count. Let those guys go, and you're going to see this huge gap here on the wide angle of no one being around Josh Ringer besides a couple defensive linemen that he can outrun and get into scoring distance here. So I'm going to pause it right about here when he makes that catch, okay? You have defensive linemen behind him, but you have no one in this area right here with a couple linemen in front of them. And plays like this are super important. 3rd and long, 3rd and 14, 3rd and 15 here. Get a first down, get 1st and goal, ready for the Trojans to score. This play right here, we're going to pause it before Ryan Stenger goes into motion. So we have 2 tight ends on the left-hand side right here. Okay, Ryan's going to go in motion, okay, and he's just going to fall out into the flat area. They're going to try to run opposite, fake the run opposite, so play action to the left side. And then Colburn's going to do a great job of faking the football to Josh Ringer, get that ball to Ryan Stenger, and he gets upfield very, very quickly for a huge gain. Again, another play action type play, a misconception play for the offense to make sure that defense stays honest and staying back to their gap integrity and to their rules of their defense. But plays like this, like I mentioned before, are going to be super important for East Central to be successful. Here's a wide angle of this. You're going to see the fake handoff. You're going to see Ryan jump out immediately 2 to 3 yards off the line of scrimmage, get that catch. No one's really in striking distance of him, and he gets upfield super quick. Well, that's this week's Keys of the Game. Now with Kaz and Coach Miner's interview.
Awesome job, Josh, as always. And we're getting closer and closer to kickoff tonight at Trojan Field. The Class 4A semi-state battle with the Trojans and the Royals, Part 2. And it's my honor and pleasure bringing in the head football coach, the East Central Trojans, Jake Miners. Coach, congratulations on the regional win last football Friday night against Evansville Memorial. And I know last week we mentioned that you had satisfaction in the sectional win against Martinsville. The same thing, I believe, can be said about the regional championship.
Yeah, anytime you're winning football games at this point of the year, you're pretty happy. Even if you only score one more point than the other team, you're happy that you walk away with a victory. But for us last week, I think it was more of a redemption type, feeling that we were able to go down there this year, handle the travel, it's not easy to go 4.5 hours and make the trip. We made the trip this year on a Friday night, which honestly was a good move because it kept things pretty normal for our guys, and going down there and just coming out and playing really well. And I think just when we got up 14-0, all of us kind of held our breath because that's the amount that we were up last year. But being able to punch in that 3rd touchdown and go up by 3 scores was a big deal for us down there. But it was another great night by our defense. Our offense played well. Didn't turn the football over, and we executed. So we did everything that we wanted to do going into that regional final. We were able to walk away with a victory.
I know taking a long trip to Evansville is a long trip, about 4 hours, but coming home definitely a much funner and enjoyable experience.
Much more fun, especially when you're pulling into school about 2:30 a.m. But the whole ride home, it's a lot better, I will say, after a win than a loss this time around.
And I know this week the weather a little bit colder. How's practice and everything going this week for the team?
Practice has been going great. We spoke after the game last week and again on Monday. We're putting in a game plan for this week. That there's only 4 teams that are practicing in 4A this week. And so really just enjoy the experience, enjoy going out and practicing in the cold. Wednesday, we were able to go out and practice in the snow, so that was a little bit unique. And guys really flying around and just having fun and enjoying it while also getting better from week 13 to week 14 because we have a very good opponent coming in. But just really enjoying that moment and enjoying this journey along the way here together.
And coming up tonight is the Semistate, the Roncalli Royals Part 2. And I think we all know, football fans from both teams throughout the state of Indiana, the Tri-State, know how this battle is. The 2 teams, a big rivalry. And I think tonight's game is going to be no exception. It's going to be knockdown, drag down.
Yeah, it's really interesting because this rivalry has kind of developed because we had been facing each other in the postseason play. And then we got them onto our regular season schedule, and it's been a back and forth game. Each game has really come down to one possession and who makes less mistakes and who's the team that blinks. And we played them in week 9. We played them really tough. We felt really good about that game, but you don't feel great anytime you don't walk away with a victory. So we did some really good things within that game, but we didn't play well enough in order to win. So we're going to have to correct those issues moving into tonight. I think anytime that an East Central and Roncalli team get together, you expect a physical type football game, you expect a close football game, and you expect it to come down to the end.
One other time in history you guys played, this is the second time you played. That was 2015. The Royals took the end of the regular season game 31-10, but in the semi-state championship game, the Trojans won 21-0. I'm thinking you guys are hoping to have the same results as 2015.
Yeah, I mean, that would certainly be nice if we're able to come out and do that again. But, really, when we go back to that season itself, when we played Week 9, we didn't feel very good about the Week 9 loss. Honestly, we got steamrolled a little bit in that loss. But we were able to learn a lot of things about ourselves, learn where our deficiencies were and correct those as we moved along the way. And we got hot. And in that game, it's going to be the same thing that what we're going to have to do again tonight, that we're going to have to take care of the football. We're going to have to, try to win the line of scrimmage. We're going to have to tackle well. We're going to have to hopefully create a turnover or two on defense. And those types of things happened in that semi-state game in 2015. So, we're hoping to replicate those things again tonight.
And one cool thing as well, I know last week we talked about two other area teams that are going deep in the tournament. And they, like the Trojans, the Tigers, and the Chargers won their games. And it's kind of cool getting three area teams in the semi-state. First time it's happened in our area. And it's cool to see the state of Indiana get to see Southeastern Indiana football and see how good of talent we got.
Yeah, I think that when you're looking at this, it's obvious that Southeastern Indiana plays good football, and it's really neat to be one of those three teams that are included in the semi-state championship rounds. It's a credit to North Decatur. Again, we talked last week that they've had a great season and a wonderful run here, and hopefully it continues for them. I was able to talk with Coach Kaniga down at Lawrenceburg and congratulate him on his regional victory and what they have coming up here, and just wish him good luck. So I think we're all rooting for each other at this point, and hoping that we can have three area teams, representing Southeastern Indiana next week.
And I know you got your focus on the Royals, and that's the top focus. And is there kind of any buzz or anything about the state championship? That's next week. That's one game away. And I know you got Kokomo or Northview, who's on the other part of the bracket. Any preparation or anything you're doing for that one? Get ready for that in case you do win tonight.
Coaches always work weeks in advance. So we've watched Kokomo on film. We watched New Prairie on film. Both running football teams. They don't like to throw it a whole lot. They'll throw it enough to keep you honest. But it's interesting when you look at the final four teams that are still in it, that they're all running football teams. We throw the most out of all four of those teams, which is kind of just an interesting thing. And it's the old adage, you better be able to run the football and play defense in the playoffs. So, both New Prairie and Kokomo have had wonderful seasons. Look really good on film and that sort of stuff. So, we'll see. But all of our focus, all of our players' focus have been on Roncalli, and we're going to have to play really well in order to have a chance.
And that's great to see the fan support, not only at the home games during the playoffs, but on the road as well. And I know that it's going to be packed at Trojan Field tonight.
Yeah, I just expect a good crowd tonight on both sides. Roncalli always travels really well. It doesn't hurt that this is a traditional rivalry, and these are two teams that have matched up in the playoffs, several times in our history. So I think both fan bases are excited. Both programs are excited to go against each other, and the victory for either team puts you in the state championship. So I think that element also plays into it. But Trojan Nation always travels really well. We had a good turnout down in Evansville last week, which is a long trip. I think Trojan Nation is going to bear the cold a little bit with us, and hopefully they make things loud and make things difficult for Roncalli.
Any final thoughts, Coach?
We're just really excited to be playing at this point in the year. Anytime that you're talking about practicing late November, it's a really cool experience for our guys, and we're hoping to play really well tonight so that we can continue on this journey.
Coach Myers, our pleasure to get to speak with you again, and congratulations on the regional championship, and hopefully we can talk next week, talk about playing for a state championship.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
That's East Central Trojans head football coach Jake Miners, and get ready for kickoff at Trojan Field with the Trojans and the Royals.
We're moments away from kickoff at Trojan Field, 7 o'clock. The Class 4A semi-state battle between the Trojans and the Royals. Part 2 of the rematch from earlier this year, which Roncalli won 21-19. The Trojans looking to get revenge and move on to next week's state finals. Now, this happened back in 2015. The Royals defeated East Central 31-10 at the end of the regular season. The Trojans got revenge and winning 21-0 in the Semistate. We'll see if deja vu will strike again. And also want to say that if the Trojans do come out winners tonight, they'll be in the 4A state championship game. Now, the 4A state championship game will be next Friday afternoon. That'll be right after Thanksgiving. They'll be at Lucas Oil Stadium, kicking off at 3 o'clock. They'll take on the winner of the northern bracket of 4A, the Northview Cougars or the Kokomo Wildcats. Be sure to tune in to Trojan Media Productions coverage of the winter sports, girls basketball, boys and girls swimming, and wrestling. The best of luck to the Trojans. Thanks all for Trojan Media Productions. I'm Kaz Burdett. Go Trojans.